So how do you make money in real estate? Well, the good news is there are at least 4 different ways to make money from real estate that are the main ways that where you can make a ton of money. So let's talk about them. Well, number 1, you can make money flipping real estate. You can buy places, fix them up, make them beautiful, and sell them. It's kind of fun, sort of like those TV shows that you see. The thing about flipping real estate is it is actually harder than it appears on TV, believe it or not. I know you believe that. And the place that's hard, that'll probably surprise you, the place that's hard is acquiring properties at the right price. You can't get like 5 or 10% off and expect to make any money for 2 reasons. Number 1, every single renovation that anybody ever does goes over budget and over time. So you think it's going to take $30,000 to renovate, it ends up taking $40,000, $50,000, or $60,000 to renovate. So you have to have a cushion in there. The second thing is you have holding costs. You have interest expense, you have real estate taxes that accumulate day after day, you have utilities and insurance and all those expenses. Those things are nibbling away at your profit. And it's expensive to have all those things. If you borrow $400,000 to buy a house and you have a 7% loan, that's $28,000 per year in interest expense alone. And so that's what? A little over $2,000 per month in interest expense. So you have all these things gobbling. So bottom line, when you buy a place to flip, you really need to buy it for 30 to 40% less than its retail value, meaning whatever you're going to resell it for, minus your fix-up cost. So if you had a $400,000 house that needed $100,000 worth of repairs, you really need to buy it for about 70% of the $400,000 value. So for $280,000 minus your $100,000 in fix-up. I know that seems nuts. I know it seems crazy, but that is the math on it. Matter of fact, what I'll do for you, I will put a link to a spreadsheet that I put together down below that I use for my own flipping deals. And that way you can see the math, because whenever I talk about things like this, I always get some people flaming me in the comments saying, oh, you can't, that's a ripping the homeowner off. It's just math. When you buy it about 30% off, your profit margin is going to be 10 to 12% at the end of the day on that deal. And that's what you need. So I will put the spreadsheet so you can see it for yourself. Use the spreadsheet. Hopefully you'll make lots of money with it and you can send me a thank you later. So that's number 1, flipping houses. The second one, and probably the smartest thing you can do long term, is buying rental places in a good, solid area that's hopefully appreciating, and I'll explain how to figure out what's going to be appreciating in the future or not, and just allow your tenants to pay your mortgages off, and you get very rich over time, and you build cash flow and you build net worth. So how does that work? Well, first of all, buying in the right place. Buying a place where you have population coming into that place, and that's going to naturally drive prices up. So just for example, we've seen towns like Boise, Idaho, Austin, Texas, pretty much anywhere in Florida, all over the Southeast for many decades. You've seen population moving to those areas. And when population moves, house prices go up. Why? Because there's a fixed amount of real estate, there's a certain amount of land, and more people come in, then more people need to use that land, so they pay more for it. So it's just simply supply and demand, nothing more complex than that. And that drives appreciation. That's an external factor that you don't have to do anything to harvest that appreciation. You don't have to fix your place up. You don't have to build a new place. You don't have to do anything other than wait. Because when more people come in, prices go up. So the metrics to look at are population movement into that area and job growth in that area. If jobs are increasing in that area, then prices are going to go up. If more people are coming into that area, prices will go up. And try to be on the leading edge of it. Try not to buy yesterday's news. Yesterday's news is Austin. Yesterday's news is Miami. There are other towns that tend to be smaller towns that are a little bit off the radar. Like Boise, Idaho is a good example of this. I visited Boise 10 years ago and I said, wow, this is a pretty nice place. And I could see it was starting to grow. And I understood why. It was a nice place. I actually spent a month there. And I was like, wow, this is a really nice, livable town. I thought this will be great. At the time, houses were $100,000 or less. Well, if we come forward today, 10 years later, they're like $400,000 houses there. And that was very predictable because you could see the jobs coming in, you see the people coming in, you could see the construction. So you want to get ahead of things, so start making that a research project. Start with ChatGPT. Where's the greatest population movement in the past year? Where's the greatest population movement over the last 5 years? What places are starting to have population moving in and jobs moving in that's new? Start asking those questions and doing your research, and pick an area that you can learn, that you can build a team in, where you have a real estate agent looking for places for you, where you have construction people that will do work for you, where you have property management companies. Establish a beachhead and invest there. What I wouldn't want you doing is investing in a town that's shrinking. When you have a place that's shrinking, you have an external factor that's really going to decrease the value of your property. So when you have jobs leaving, people leaving, you don't want to be holding real estate there, because over the long term, it's a very bad idea. Because the overall plan here is that as people come in, two things happen. One, the prices naturally rise just because of external factors. Second, rents increase. Rents increase because there are more tenants competing for the same number of apartments. It's very difficult to build new apartments. It's very expensive to build anything. It's expensive to build houses. Generally, it doesn't make sense to build a house as a rental because it's so expensive to build it and your rents aren't high enough. So generally, that's very hard to do. So that is going to drive the value of your investment portfolio up. And when you get increased rents and increased property values, that is your formula to become very, very wealthy very, very easily. I would say that for most people, if you bought 10 to 12 houses that were rentals, or for that matter, probably 20 apartments altogether, and you just kept them and paid them down from the rents, maybe you put them on a 15 or 20-year payment schedule. As they get paid down and paid off, you're automatically going to become a multimillionaire. There's no question. It'll just be automatic just because of the equity in the buildings. And if your area is increasing, you're going to go there too. And then your cash flow is going to increase because your rents are going up. So at the end of time, you're going to have anywhere from 10 to 20 separate rents coming in on free and clear properties. You'll be set for retirement. You'll be very wealthy, and you will have had this sort of side hobby business that supported all that. One of the easiest ways to become wealthy in real estate. Another way to get started in this is to do some things that are adjacent to real estate but don't involve you necessarily putting up the down payment and the acquisition cost. And that would be things like wholesaling, things like overages, which is the business that I do. Wholesaling is where you locate properties, you put them under contract, and then rather than closing yourself, you turn that contract over to another investor who's going to buy it. Investors will snap these things up if they're at the right price, because it's hard to find good deals on property. It really takes a lot of work and effort and has a huge amount of value. And once you have it under control by having it under contract, you're the only one that can close on it. Someone can't circumvent you and go around your deal. So that's very easy. If you want to learn about that, just do a YouTube search on wholesaling, or I did some videos on wholesaling. You can learn about the details of that. Good benefit of wholesaling is you do not need to come up with cash yourself. Someone else does the closing, you just put it under contract, and it can be a very easy way to get into real estate. It's low investment. The part that's not easy is finding the property. So that is your job. You become the person that finds the good deals, and that's how you provide value. You can make really good money with it. Second thing that I do is called overages. I help people who've lost a property at foreclosure, either due to tax sale or mortgage foreclosure sale, get back extra money that's left over. The quick explanation of that is that especially these days, when you're talking about a house that gets foreclosed for taxes or mortgage, probably it sells for a lot more than the debt that's owed. And when it does that, that extra money is available for the former homeowner to claim if they claim it. But there's an application process. You have to know how to do it. Most homeowners or former homeowners have no idea there even could be any money left over. So most of this money never gets given to the former homeowners. It just disappears into the government, who just takes it and uses the money for whatever they want. In most places, if you don't get the money within a defined time period, generally about 3 years, then you lose the money. So what we do is we get the list of people who owed the money. We look up their contact info. We give them a call or send them a letter and say, hey, would you be interested in harvesting this money that we found? And people hire us for a percentage. We go and get money. We make great money with it. We do great work helping people. If you want to know more about that business, look down below. There's a link to Intro to the Overages business. You can see that. I spent 15 or 20 minutes going through that. That is a great business because it's a very low investment and just creates chunks of cash. What I think you should do with those chunks of cash is, first of all, live your life. But secondly, save some money and acquire rental properties. Because rental properties are passive income, especially if you do what I teach, which is to have professional managers managing it. So you're not stuck answering calls for stuffed up toilets in the middle of the night. Instead, you're cozy asleep in your bed and just get a check deposited. And yes, you have to pay someone to do the repairs, but it's better than you getting up at midnight to deal with a toilet. That's for sure. So that's the second way to really make great money in an adjacent business. Other things you can do, but I don't generally recommend them. You could be a real estate agent. I don't think that's great. Every time the market goes up, too many people pour into that business. Tends to be a low margin business with a lot of work. That's not how I would choose to make any money. I would be, if you're just starting out, a wholesaler, or I would do the overages business. If you're further along, I would study and get involved with rental properties. I'd pick a great growing area and I'd invest in that. And that's the way you make a lot of money in real estate. So hopefully this is helpful. Put your comments down below. If you have any follow-up questions, put them down below. I'll get to them as I can get them. I can't guarantee that I'll get to every question, but I do what I can. I do look at the questions, the comments. Love to be helpful. Hopefully you found this helpful, and hopefully this will get you along your journey to investing in real estate, which is a great place to invest because they're not making more of it. More population is coming into the United States, and that naturally will lead to appreciation. But remember, real estate is all local. You want to be in an area where people are coming in, jobs are coming in. When you pick those areas, you are destined to win. This is Attorney Bob Diamond. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.